my name is Katie Tyner. We're gathering together today to discuss some changes and implementations to our process for EL newcomers at Albertville Intermediate School, and I will just let everybody introduce themselves.
Hello.
Somebody's got the giggles.
Miss Knight, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Amber Knight, and I'm an EL teacher at AIS.
Good. What about you, Miss Amy?
Hi, my name is Amy Flores, and I am the bilingual aide at AIS.
All right, so thank y'all so much for being with me today. Let's discuss what our current process is for newcomers that come into Albertville Intermediate School, like brand new, fresh to our school system and fresh to our school.
I'll go first. What our process is when they enroll, they fill out a home language survey, and we identify our newcomers according to the questions that the parents answer. If English is not the primary language, we start the process of getting the students screened, and I give the screener, and once the screener comes in based on their score, they become an EL student, and we send a letter, permission to serve letter home to the parents. When we get that back in, the students begin receiving services.
Okay, so with our newcomers, what are some things, like after this whole process, you know, the paperwork process, like when our newcomers come into our classes, what are some current ways that we are trying to help that transition for these kids?
Well, I can speak for placement as far as homeroom placement and things in the office. We work to try to place a student that doesn't speak any English with someone that is speaking their native language that is already in the classroom. So we do some research and we find someone with the dialect that they are speaking, because Spanish has so many dialects. And we try to place them with someone who can understand them, who can translate for them, and who can be kind of their advocate in their classroom. So I think that kind of helps smooth the transition a bit for someone, because, you know, if I went into a new school system where they didn't speak any of the language that I speak, I would want someone that understood me and was able to communicate with me and to the others. So that's kind of how we do it through the office. I'm sure Amber can attest to other things.
That pretty much covers it. Our teachers are really good at identifying those students that you're speaking of and making sure they're comfortable working together, and they make accommodations according to their needs in the classroom.
I'm just typing out some things for our meeting minutes.
We also have aides in the classroom, and Amy might can speak on the things that she does to help them work, you know, more smoothly, having a more smooth transition in the classroom.
I think as far as the aides go, we just try to make things comfortable by being more involved with them personally. I go in classroom to classroom and make sure everybody is pretty much covered. Sometimes kids fall through the cracks. That's my job, to make sure that there's nobody that we're missing out on. But like Miss Battle said, we do try to pair up students together that will understand each other. It can help each other among themselves, because I think that is also very important. But I try to help, you know, take that burden off of them when I can.
And for the most part, I know we had a situation this past year with one of our EL students who didn't speak a lot of English, with them being happy and wanting to be involved in a part of our classroom communities. Is there a way that y'all would suggest that teachers could make these kids feel more welcome? I know our teachers at AIS are doing an excellent job, trying to accommodate for these kids. But, being a teacher, you want all of your kids to feel safe and in a welcoming environment. So is there something that y'all would suggest that we could implement as a part of hopefully improving, what's the word I'm looking for? Improving the quality of education that our EL students are getting, especially our newcomers?
I think coaching may be a great idea for our students and something we might could try, especially in our ELA homerooms. Our students struggle a lot just with background knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I think having the EL teacher work alongside the teacher, myself work alongside the teachers, and help them to know how, front loading vocabulary and just strategies to get into the classroom and help them implement those strategies would really make them feel more comfortable, and just building that relationship among two teachers, knowing that there's two teachers in there that they can go to and get help, and use the aides as well to come in and translate for us and work with those students in small groups. So I think we have the resources in place. It's just implementing those strategies to help the teachers.
Okay. And so what strategies could we, well, that's, it's more or less our next point on our agenda. What are some strategies that would be beneficial to implement at the very beginning of the school year? Because the idea behind this action research is to, well, one of the points that I tried to make in my problem statement was, having a go-to toolkit that teachers could just pull and say, okay, I have a new EL student. I want, everything to go smoothly as possible. So what are some strategies that could be in this toolkit to help the transition be smoother?
Well, we have Elevation, which I think is a great tool for teachers. Specific skills and specific things that they may be teaching. There's some great strategies in that program to check on an individual basis, based on their access scores, their proficiency levels. I feel like having specific areas of the classroom, like if a student doesn't know how to ask for needs or wants, you can have cards with pictures on them, because a lot of the times they don't know how to ask, but they want to ask. So I think having picture cards available for the restroom, or if they need supplies, or if they would like to go to the library, stuff like that, that would help them communicate, and they could see the picture, see the words, and that would help them learn, how to ask and what to ask for. Also allowing the student to begin in their own language, I think shows that you appreciate their second language. It's okay for them to turn in work in their own language, and for them to just build that confidence to know that you see their hard work and you see that they're doing the work.
Right. I read in starting the research of this, I was trying to find that article that I read, like even having, this is it, is leveraging a Spanish literacy intervention to support outcomes of English learners. So the idea that, kids learning each other's languages would help kids who speak Spanish as a first language, and then kids who speak English as a first language, like them learning each other's languages together actually helps in literacy skills, specifically vocabulary, because I think back on, taking Spanish classes and like identifying things. And so just, identifying what a computer is in both languages actually helps both Spanish and English speaking students in literacy skills. So like in one of my other articles that I pulled was talking about building relationships. Like, I know being a general ed classroom teacher, sometimes I am, you know, trying my hardest to make sure that everybody is included and involved. And sometimes, you know, I don't always do that. And so I know we're going to have several, like we have a first year teacher in our social studies group. And I do want to include social studies in with this research because we do so much reading in social studies as well. So like for a first year teacher, building those relationships with those students, what are some, what would y'all suggest as far as building those relationships for a first year teacher?
Well, I think every teacher builds relationships differently. I think that everybody kind of has to find their way with their kids. I think that with these EL students, just understanding that they're going to struggle, understanding that they're going to be upset from time to time, knowing what to do when they're upset. You know, maybe fill out a interest inventory in their own language, because once you kind of figure out what they like and what they like to talk about, then you can kind of get on their level and talk to them about it, even if it's through Google Translate. So I think maybe an interest inventory for these guys.
I think just including them as far as having them answer yes or no questions or things that they're participating in. Because I think once they feel heard and recognized that you see them, that it just gives them confidence. And I found over the past few years, a lot of time confidence is the way just to make them feel involved. And that goes a long way.
I think giving them a peer tutor will help too. I mean, someone that speaks their dialect, their language, someone who can help them. I think that also builds a lot of confidence in English speakers. So I feel like if you give them a peer tutor and you know something that you can talk to them about that they can relate to you, then you're going to build the relationships that you're looking for.
I also think that small group helps a lot. I've noticed that with students, when they actually have time, like one-on-one time with the teacher, it builds that relationship, just being them two together, or even if there are a few more other students with them. Mm-hmm. And also implementing some of their language into the classroom, I think helps a lot. There was a year that for Hispanic Heritage Month, they did like the Spanish word of the day in classrooms. Mm-hmm. And that made them feel so like special and different, because it was just bringing those everyday words that they speak normally into a classroom where they don't normally hear that stuff. So I think little things like that, it really does help these students build their confidence. And like Ms. Knight said, I think confidence has a major role in that.
I like that. That's awesome. Okay, so last thing. I'm looking to hopefully not have, I mean, I guess a cheat sheet kind of thing to give to all of the teachers at the beginning of the school year, that has all of these things that we discussed on it. Is there like to start implementing these things, you know, straight out of the gate and doing all of them? I know I would like to look more into using elevations. It kind of happened this past year that I learned about it right before leaving for my maternity leave. And then, by the time that was over, the school year was over. So I know I would really like to utilize more of the elevations. So do y'all feel that it would be more helpful to have like and I know Ms. Stein has already done this, to have like a sheet that would have all of the things on it for, teachers to go back and look at. I'm looking at probably breaking it up into 2 or 3 sections, like academic and I guess academic and relationships, because I want to focus on, all of our kids being met in the things that they need on both an academic level and on a personal level, because with our student that was in our pod last year, it was just heartbreaking that they didn't want to be at school. And, it's like, that's a problem for me personally, because, I want kids to feel like they can come into my classroom and, be loved and appreciated and, included in all ways. So, do y'all have any suggestions as to what the easiest way to get this rolled out to teachers would be? Like, is the cheat sheet, kind of handout, or like a Google Doc that just, is shareable with everybody? Or is there another method that y'all think would be better?
Well, I know that Amber has a Google Classroom that she shares some different resources with our faculty. So you might want to put that on there, as well as if you wanted to print, if there was just like a 2 or 3 page document, you could print it and we could include it in a faculty meeting if that was something you were interested in.
Yes, that would be great. Be fabulous.
Also, at the beginning of the year, I'm going to try to get you guys all the EL information. It usually takes me about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get it to you guys. We've received their scores digitally. So I'm going to have a packet of information to give to everybody, along with their students, their EL students they will have in their classroom, and their language proficiency scores right when the year starts. So you're welcome, if you want to type up some information or whatever, to come in there during, I'm going to do like 5 or 10 minute meetings with each pod. And you're welcome to sit with me and show them what you have and give it to them then.
That would be great too. Google Classroom. Come back. I know it kind of seems like that there's sometimes that I feel like that I'm talking about something and personally I'm really excited about it. And so I kind of feel like that I'm all over the place. And I know we do a lot of these things at AIS, and which I'm very thankful for. And I'm just trying to, have I guess more or less a proof of concept, because we do things so well with Miss Knight and Miss Flores and everything that we do with our EL kids. We're just trying to make sure that our kids, have everything that they could possibly need to feel welcome. And so I really do appreciate y'all coming together today and helping me do this. And I'm looking forward to working with y'all some more.